Hi, and welcome to our video on crafting the conclusion. This is Vivian Spencer with the Writing Center at Southeastern. Our focus will be on the conclusion for the problem-solution genre of the research essay. What is the role and importance of a conclusion? The conclusion is a critical feature for any type of essay, as it is the last thing the audience will read. All conclusions act as the closing framework for the main argument. This is the final time the writer may assert her solution to the reader. All conclusions also assert the writer's authorial voice by ending with a strong command of both style and of the essay's topic. And primarily, the conclusion gives closure to the reader by discussing the wider significance of the main argument. It answers the important question, so what? Why should the reader care about the argument or solution to a given problem? Answering the so what question motivates the reader to think or act differently. This piece is especially critical in the problem-solution style of the research essay. Readers expect to see why the proposed solution is valuable and viable. So how do writers compose a conclusion that accomplishes these important roles? Writers typically earn a strong, significant ending by reversing the order of the essay's introduction. The conclusion restates the thesis in light of the reasons and evidence presented in the body, reviews the main points of the essay body that supports the thesis, demonstrates the wider significance of the essay's argument or solution by answering the so what question, and ends with a strong last sentence, typically by echoing the hook. Both the thesis and the advanced organizer restatement should be brief in comparison to the significance. The diagram demonstrates that most of the conclusion is dedicated to the significance. This is an ideal structure for a conclusion, yet experienced writers may revise or overlap elements. Here is a sample introduction to a research essay that will help us to better understand the role and function of the conclusion. The hook, thesis, and reasons are traditional expected elements of the introduction. Research writers also include a statement that frames the main argument in significance and increases the reader's motivation to read the essay. It also creates the expectation that the significance will be discussed in detail in the conclusion. In our example, the writer is exploring the relationship between race and Christianity in the American tradition. The writer suggests that how this question is answered is important because the implications of conflating race and religion have lasting effects on the way present-day believers share Christ in a missional multi-ethnic setting. While there are other important features within the introduction, I have only focused on the elements that distinctly appear in both the introduction and conclusion. For more information on starting an essay, see our video on crafting the introduction. If we look at the conclusion for our example essay, we see that the writer has flipped the features of the introduction. The thesis and reasons are restated at the beginning of the paragraph, followed by a discussion on how that argument is significant, and ends with a memorable last sentence that, in this case, echoes the introduction's hook. Just by glancing at this paragraph, readers see that the writer uses a small portion of the conclusion to summarize, while the majority of the paragraph discusses the implications and applications of the solution. Let's look at these elements in more detail. The summary is the final moment for readers to grasp the main argument in light of the evidences provided in the body paragraphs the audience just read. In this example, the writer begins by restating the essay's main problem and connecting it to the significance. Understanding how the early American writers associated the European race and Christianity is essential for the witness of Christians today. The next phrase succinctly asserts the solution and alludes to the main reasons. In recognizing that early American writers equated race with Christianity, the writer's use of an introductory dependent clause indicates that the upcoming significance is directly related to this thesis. With less than 2 sentences, the writer effectively closes the body and introduces the significance. As the main portion of the conclusion, the significance discusses the implications and applications of the main argument. The writer provides motivation for the reader by answering the so what question. This move demonstrates to the reader that the solution is not just valid as proved in the body paragraphs, but also worth caring about. In this example, the writer recognizes the significance of the thesis by addressing several outcomes. Modern-day believers can seek to break the stereotype of race being an essential part of Christianity. Believers can learn that Christianity does not have to be defined by race, nor does any race have to become white to be a Christian. Additionally, believers can become more apt to encouragingly engage those of other nationalities and cultures for the sake of the gospel. The writer illustrates to readers how her solution produces new understanding and new action. Writers also end the essay with a memorable last sentence, typically by echoing the introduction's hook. This example relates to the hook about American tradition and literature. The relationship between race and Christianity is not just important for understanding the American literary tradition, but also for how Christians today understand and share the gospel. The essay ends with the clear and memorable voice of the writer and a reminder of the impact of her argument. There are several strategies for creating significance. There are implications, applications, and new questions or research. All types answer the so what question by motivating the reader. Implications explore the logical effects of the main argument. The writer discusses how the solution affects the way the reader understands or thinks differently about an issue. This is also called addressing the research problem, because the writer addresses broader conceptual problems in a specific field of research. Applications explore how the solution affects the practical acts and choices a person can make. The writer discusses how the solution suggests a way the reader can act differently. New questions suggest how the reader can continue the conversation with new research and writing. The writer explores how the solution provides new opportunities for research. Keep in mind your target audience as you choose what significance to discuss. Here are a few tips and reminders as you craft your conclusion. Emphasize the causal relationship between the solution and outcomes. Consider using an if-then paradigm. If X is the case, then Y is also the case. This language strengthens the connection between your thesis and significance. Avoid introducing new concepts. Focus on showing the link between your solution and the outcomes, rather than introduce new concepts not previously discussed in the essay's introduction or body. Craft a memorable last sentence that provides a takeaway. While this video looks at how to allude to the beginning hook, writers may also use other strategies to create a memorable ending. Writers can pose a call for action, warning, strong image, strong emotion, meaningful quotation, rhetorical question, or a specific anecdote. Avoid offering additional evidence to support your thesis. Remember that you are showing why your solution is significant by discussing the outcomes and consequences. If you find yourself continuing to argue for your main point, then consider whether you need that evidence in the body of your essay. Avoid excessive summary. Your audience has just read your entire argument. There is no need to extensively repeat what you have already said. For more information on crafting the conclusion, consider consulting these manuals. For more learning tools by our Writing Center, visit our website through the link in the description for helpful writing handouts. Also, visit our YouTube channel for more instructional videos. This has been Vivian Spencer with the Writing Center at Southeastern. Thanks for watching.